one opportunity you have as an investor is you can go out, buy that paper that has some problems, and assuming you buy it at a price that makes sense on its own, right? And then if the borrower is willing to cooperate, which they often are, what you can do is work with the borrower, cancel that bad loan, and create a good one.
Mm.
And so now you've bought this kind of cruddy asset at a discount and now turned it into a really good asset.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds, and I am super excited to be here today. You know, I say that constantly, and I promise you I'm not lying when I say it. I am excited. I always find it a privilege to get to meet new people and to get to look at things through their lens. They are the expert at what they do, and I find it so refreshing to listen and find out people's strategies and the way they go about doing business. And today is no different. I have someone that's incredible here. He helped investors originate notes. He want to make the process easy for them. And so I love it. I want to hear more about it, and I want you guys to hear more about it. So I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Mr. Dan Deppen. Mr. Dan, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Good to be here.
Good to be here too. And I did get that last name right, Deppen, right? Did I get it right?
That's right. Yeah, no, that's
Okay, man.
perfect. Yeah.
So, like I said, excited to be here, excited to look at things through your perspective and lens. So, Mr. Dan, I'll be honest with you, I want to dive in. I would love for you to tell the people what your main focus is these days. If you want to give us a little bit of an origin story, we love the hero's journey. So, if you want to tell us, kind of how you got started a little bit, we would love to know that. And then what market
Sure.
rating is. So, you
It,
got the floor.
yeah, it's a long story, but I'll give you the super quick version. So with real estate investing, I'm on my third career. So I started as a mechanical engineer in the aerospace industry. Did that for 10 years, enjoyed it, didn't want to do it for like another 30. So I went and did my MBA and then went into the product management world. So worked for like Oracle for 6 years and AWS and some startups, and then found real estate along the way. And then the last couple of years I've been focused full time on real estate. I came into it through kind of a unique avenue. I got into real estate investing through buying notes. And so I started doing that around 2017. And then I had bought, and I still buy a lot of notes. So I kind of have two businesses. I have one where I buy notes, and then the main focus now, which is helping investors to create notes. But I had ended up with a number of REOs from non-performing notes and did seller financing on 6 or 7 of them through a company called the Underwriter. And a little over a year ago now, I actually ended up acquiring Call the Underwriter from the previous owner. And so what I've focused on now is helping investors when they originate notes, vet and underwrite their borrower, make sure they got a solid borrower, and then help them with all the consumer laws and compliance things that come along with creating notes, especially for owner occupied.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Borrowers. So that's kind of been my main focus lately.
I love it. I love it. So the markets that you serve, are you nationwide? Do you narrow?
Yeah, 50 states.
Beautiful.
Yep. Yeah, so we can help people with all 50 states. So if you're doing um uh, and so the rules get a little bit complexing, and I don't want to nerd out on that because I'll lose people. But as an investor, if you're creating a seller finance loan, you can create a certain number every year. You don't necessarily need a license to do that. However, if you're creating a loan for somebody, they're going to be an owner occupant. And then let's assume this isn't a one-off friends and family deal. You're not like selling the property to your kid or something. But then all the consumer rules still apply. So you still got to follow Dodd-Frank, validate that the borrower has the ability to repay. You've got to follow TRID, which basically just means you got to send loan estimates and closing disclosures to your borrowers on certain timelines. And then there's some other odds and ends. And that's what we help real estate investors with. And the real benefit of doing that is not always what people think. Like a lot of times people come to us because they're like, hey, I need to be compliant. I could, get in trouble if I don't do this right. And that's true to an extent, but I would say the real value is, one, if you're creating a loan, especially like a 30-year loan, right? You want to know you have a good borrower. So, if you look at Dodd-Frank, it tells lenders that they have to validate that if you're going to put a lender or if you're going to put a borrower in a home, you're going to give them a mortgage, you got to make sure they can pay it. Well, it's kind of something I want to do anyways as a lender. And honestly, that Dodd-Frank bar is fairly low. So for me, I actually have a higher standard. So the bigger value is underwriting the borrower, understanding your risk level, and knowing that you're creating a good loan. And then the other thing that some people don't even realize you can do this, but if you create a loan, a good one, it's a really valuable asset that you can do a lot of different things with, right? I can sell that asset. I can borrow against that asset. I could sell a piece of it, what's called a partial. So maybe instead of selling the whole 30-year loan, I'm going to sell somebody a couple years of payments to free up some cash. And if your loan is compliant, the main benefit is now if I want to sell it or borrow or do whatever, I can work with banks, financial institutions, because from the bank's perspective, if they're going to buy a loan, lend against a loan, whatever, they have to know that that thing's compliant. Otherwise, they've got a little different level of scrutiny.
Yeah.
And so really that's the main benefit. It's a really powerful instrument that sometimes investors don't realize. One, that they can even create a loan, or two, they don't even realize they can sell it. They just think I make this loan, I got to hold it. And you might choose to hold it, but then you've also got a lot of flexibility in what you can do with it, assuming you created a good one. And that's what I help investors with.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what determines creating a good note versus creating a bad note?
So there's a lot of things, right? But from the perspective of someone who might buy your note from you,
Mhm.
and for you as the investor, your risk level, right? Two of the big hitters are, one, the loan to value.
Okay.
So how much of a down payment did I get? And then the second one would be the borrower's credit
Okay.
as well. Those two things are the biggest factors that will kind of indicate the value of the loan should you decide to liquidate it, or the risk level of the loan for you as the investors if you're holding it. Now, there's a lot of other things as well. We look at debt to income.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
If that's huge. So we'll pull the borrower's credit, which also gets us a list of all their other monthly payments, right? So we know their other monthly payments. We know the monthly payment on the new loan. We also collect all their income documentation, and we go through that and compute what their gross monthly income is to figure out their debt to income ratio as well. So that's one of the main factors that determines, can the borrower afford the loan? Yes or no? Obviously, they want to be able to afford it, but you can also tell how easily they can, afford that loan. So the lower the debt to income ratio, the lower risk. So when we look at like a borrower and their risk profile, there's it's funny because Dodd-Frank talks about 8 elements of the ability to repay. But in my mind, there's the ability to repay. Okay, how much money am I bringing in versus what are my monthly bills and my obligations, right? We also will look at the borrower's residual income. After you've made all those payments, how much is left over? Like, let's say you've got a debt to income ratio of 50%. Those are not all the same. If your debt to income for somebody's 50%, let's say there's a single borrower, but they make $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of toys. They've got this free, like 10,000 residual income. That's a much different scenario than the borrower who, let's say, is on disability, social security benefits, maybe getting $2,000 a month. Their mortgage payment's 1,000, so their debt to income still 50, but they've got 1,000 left over versus this other borrower that had 10,000. Oh, and maybe that other borrower that's on disability has 3 kids and they got dependents, and maybe they're in a high cost of living state. So there's a lot of different factors that we have to consider.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. Well, listen, obviously, notes is definitely a strategy that you have used to be successful, from buying notes yourself and helping investors, originate notes. I want to see if there's any other core strategies that you have that you can identify that really helps you, within your business. But I also want to know if there's any personal strategies that you have that really help you, just kind of when you need to ground yourself, like when you need to kind of make sure that you're on a good pace mentally, and different things like that. So are there core strategies for
Oh,
your business and
yeah.
core strategies for personal use that you
So you're talking about yeah. So kind of my key, sort of personal non-business strategy to kind of keep my head straight. I'm an early morning person, so I'm usually up pretty early. And so I have an unfinished basement in my house, and so I've got a gym down there. And I'm also big into golf. And when I bought this house, my key requirement was having a basement ceiling tall enough to put a golf simulator. So I spend about every 90 minutes every morning working out and hitting golf balls. And that is what really like sets me up for the day. That's the big like personal one that I do. And that's, maybe a little unique. Not a lot of people have found a house that they could fit a golf simulator in the basement. And then, the other business strategy, going a little off tangent, is one of the things that I do. So I've kind of got 2 businesses. So I got called the underwriter. I help investors create notes, and then I've got Fusion Notes where I go out and buy notes, usually buying existing ones. And the way that I've grown that business, so I own about 55 or so notes at the moment, but I'll use outside investor funding to scale that. And the mechanism I used is called hypothecated loans, which is an ugly, like confusing word, but it just means taking a loan, using another loan as collateral. So what I'll do is I'll go out and I'll buy a loan at a discount.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And maybe I'm buying that at a 12 to 16% return. Mileage varies. And then I'll refinance myself out with a loan from an investor. Usually, they're usually like lending out of a self-directed IRA. Maybe they'll lend at like 8 or 9%. And so that creates a little bit of a spread. So I get some monthly cash flow out of that. And then because I bought the underlying loan at a discount, if it pays off early, I can get these little bumps because basically I'm keeping the profit if it pays off early.
Yeah.
And there's no free lunch. And so the risk is if that loan does default, I'm on the hook, to handle the foreclosure, to pay for that, to do that work, and then continue paying the investor while I'm doing the workout. So that's kind of my favorite strategy around the note buying side of the house.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much. Definitely. I love asking that question because I really love picking the brain of people to find out some of the personal strategies that like center them. I think all of us, systems we know is a big thing just in our life and business, but life systems, having systems in place that really can focus you, get you fired up, create creative juices that flowing through the brain. Like, I know one of the major things, that I think some people forget about is setting away time to play. Setting away time to play and have fun can really rejuvenate you and get the creative juices flowing. So it's a beautiful thing, man, that you got a golf simulator. I think that's just a wonderful way to kind of reset, recharge, and get back at it. And so I really appreciate you sharing that. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, what's the next real goal for you? I know you got, your two businesses. What are there some target goals that you can see that you've set that you're working towards?
Yeah. So for me, it's really to double the scale of double the volume that we're doing at Call the Underwriter every year. And so, I mentioned I had acquired it from the previous owner. And it's funny because the reason I got into that business was I saw kind of a gap. There's a lot of seller finance activity, and there's really not a vendor infrastructure. There's not a very solid vendor infrastructure there
Gotcha.
to support it. So I was actually working on spinning up a competitor until I found out that the other guy was interested in selling. So I was able to acquire that and save myself a lot of steps. So during the course of 2025, I've gone through and, because Call the Underwriter was like many RMLOs where, you basically had a guy kind of just doing everything manually. I've put some systems in place, created a lot of standard operating procedures. I've gone out and hired some underwriters, and now I've got kind of the machine in place. I've got things kind of, stabilized and set up to where it can scale. And now 2026 is going to be about going out and actually growing the business now that I've got that stable base. Had I tried to do that out the gate, everything would have fallen on the floor because I wouldn't have had the systems to manage if I had gone out and, created some growth. So now that's the plan for 2026.
Love it. I love it. So you doubling the value, putting systems in place, hiring underwriters. It sounds like to me that you know the value of building relationships. And so I want to just talk a brief moment and get your perspective on relationships. Have it really helped you? Has it hindered you? Like, how has building relationships affected your business?
Yeah, it's been huge because I haven't really done a lot of dedicated marketing around my business, but I have acquired a lot of new customers just through positive word of mouth. And that's those relationships. Some of those are investors I've known for a long time. Some of those are, new ones that have tried us and had a good experience. I've also got, some relationships with different educators, in the space that will create referrals. So yeah, I've definitely, leaned heavily on my relationships over the past year
Yeah.
or so.
Absolutely. I love it. I think relationships, I always say people are the real currency. And so I think building very healthy relationships can go such a long way. It can definitely bring you money, but if not money, resources to get you where you need to go. And just not just on a transactional tip, just building good relationships that you can foster over the years is just an absolute game changer. So I'm with you. I believe relationships are a beautiful thing. So listen, Mr. Dan, is there any other kind of nugget you feel like would be valuable to people? Is there any kind of words of inspiration, education, motivation? Is there anything that you wanted to say to people that maybe you feel like, "Oh, let me just pass this little free nugget on because I think this may help."
Yeah, just one trick you can do that people probably haven't thought of. I've done this a handful of times over the past year. So, I mentioned how the vast majority of seller finance loans that get created are really bad loans. They might have like bad paperwork, they weren't originated correctly. And so if you created one of those things are hard to sell. One opportunity you have as an investor is you can go out, buy that paper that has some problems, and assuming you buy it at a price that makes sense on its own, right?
Yeah.
And then if the borrower is willing to cooperate, which they often are, what you can do is work with the borrower, cancel that bad loan, and create a good one.
Mm,
And so now you've bought this kind of cruddy asset at a discount and now turned it into a really good asset. So people think of like fix and flipping real hard real estate. You can actually fix and flip paper
mm.
as well. And so, like I said, I've done that a handful of times this past year. And it's one of those, I think it's a really good strategy. And there's a lot of paper out there with flaws. And it's just something that people may not have thought of.
Listen, y'all heard it. I mean, he just gave you some free game. Listen, so I love it.
Yeah.
Listen, since you're giving away free game, maybe you're willing to do it in the future. If someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, collaborate with you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you, sir?
Yeah. The best way is just to drop me an email at dan@calltheunderwriter.com. And then if you've got, questions on seller finance, other things you want to know, we've got a lot of resources on the website at calltheunderwriter.com. But yeah, always like email's the easiest way to reach out and get me.
Well, listen, I love it, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Dan, for coming through. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your story. Thank you for your perspective. I know this has been a valuable, valuable podcast episode for our viewers. And so I really appreciate you coming through, sir.
All right. Well, I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, y'all heard Mr. Dan. He's giving you nugget after nugget, things that you can think about, things that you can chew on, even giving you his information if you wanted to reach out. So definitely reach out to Mr. Dan, but definitely make sure you are subscribed here. You do not want to miss out on this content and the people that we keep bringing up. I tell you, just keep getting better and better. So we don't want you to miss out. So thank you, Mr. Dan, and everyone else. We'll see you on the next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.